Choosing the assessments to use will depend on your purpose, what you're assessing, any restrictions, and this may be the awarding bodies limiting the type of assessment that you can use. So the Level 3 Certificate in Assessing Vocational Achievement has some restrictions, and these can be dependent upon the awarding body. So for example, we switched our qualifications for our full teacher training and assessing suite to a different organisation where we have more flexibility adapting our assessments to meet the needs of learners. Granted, it costs more, but it gives our learners more room for manoeuvre. Regardless of which assessment methods you choose, there will always be pros and cons of each. So let's have a look at the most common methods used in a Level 3 Certificate in Assessing Vocational Achievement. Number one, observations. So observations are watching and observing someone to verify them performing a skill. This could be sports fans, and I'm an Everton fan. We'll watch our team and judge the players based on what we saw. It allows us to watch our skills live. And the strengths of observations is that it gives a quick and an accurate picture of how someone performed in a situation. And the issue with this is, how do you verify that this has actually occurred with no record? So this is why it's recommended that you follow up any communications with an email so that you can evidence it. The limitations of observation is that the assessor may not be objective. We may dislike players because we dislike the team. And as an Everton fan, we may have a tendency to have an unfair bias against Liverpool fans. So it's down to how the assessor makes your decisions. Products of work are evidence which is created in the workplace. This can be emails, appraisals, work experience, which shows that the learner has done something. And the best thing about work products is that they are a final representation of what has been done. And if the learner has already done something in their job, we can use this as evidence instead of asking them to do it again. Work products you could use in a Level 3 Certificate in Assessing Vocational Achievement could be assessment plans you created as part of your job. The main limitation of work products is that they are often not sufficient on their own. Therefore, they may need additional evidence to meet the learning outcomes. Questioning is probably the most common form of assessment, and the assessor asks a series of questions to gauge the learner's response for knowledge. So in the Level 3 Certificate in Assessing Vocational Achievement, Unit 1, Understanding the Principles and Practices of Assessment, is carried out in the form of questions. This could be a series of questions or a long question which asks for an essay-style response, or it can be verbal. The benefits is that it can be adapted and can easily follow up an observation. The limitations are the questions asked. So closed questions generally won't offer much valuable information, whereas open questions will allow learners to give detail. Witness testimonies are the last assessment type that we'll cover, and this is an expert such as a tutor, a colleague or supervisor to witness times you've met a learning outcome. So you see this in security a lot. I will go out and assess stewards in sports stadiums, monitoring crowds, and as part of the qualification requirements, we need to assess learners dealing with conflict. And there will be times where conflict just doesn't happen in the workplace at the time, so we are unable to sign off this learning outcome. So therefore, there is a chance after multiple visits that we may not even get to observe it in person. So the next best option is to get a witness, such as a supervisor, to confirm the learner has resolved conflict during their employment. So this allows us to cover criteria which cannot be observed in person. The limitations to this method is that the witness may not be trained to give the expert opinion or may not know the qualification requirements to give the required detail needed.